Today, former CIA director and notable raisin-faced turd muffin John Brennan is on the attack against the President of the United States, and we're going to show you exactly how he is doing it. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, every one of these episodes I start by saying thank you to every one of my subscribers. I realize how important you guys are, and I'm just thankful, so I always like to mention it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you develop notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, be notified, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, we're still on Q Watch. We haven't had any drops from him, but as I've said before, we don't need Q to continue to study the news, to study the corruption, to study the evil, the globalist, pedophile, Luciferian scum. And with or without Q, we're going to continue that battle here on our own, because that is what this whole movement has been about from day one. So we're going to continue that here today, talking about the latest coming out from Donald Trump's Twitter, which is actually a great resource for information. And if you look at what we're talking about here from the Twitter account, it specifically comments that were quoted from Dan Bongino by President Trump on his Twitter page. And it says, quote, "John Brennan, no single figure in American history has done more to discredit the intelligence community than this liar. Not only is he a liar, he's a liar about being a liar." Wow. Isn't that fun? Okay, but a lot of people are pointing out some very interesting things about this tweet that we're going to get into, especially how Trump is maybe making some sort of communication, giving us a signal, as he's done many times before through his Twitter account, that is like telling us to look somewhere that is important. So we're going to get into that after we cover what is going on with John Brennan. Well, here's John Brennan, the raisin-faced turd muffin himself. He has written an op-ed in the Washington Post that's called John Brennan, "I will speak out until integrity returns to the White House." Oh, I have to read this little gem of a piece of garbage, if you ask me. We have to examine this just to see what he's saying, because I think once you guys hear his article in its entirety, you're going to really realize how vicious the attacks are becoming and how desperate they are in their attacks. So John Brennan, he was the director of the CIA, and now it's saying, here's his article. Here's a great little gem as we read through here the article. "The esteem which I held the presidency, or the esteem with which I held the presidency was dealt a serious blow when Donald Trump took office. Almost immediately, I began to see startling aberration from the remarkable, though human, presidents I had served. Mr. Trump's lifelong preoccupation with aggrandizing himself seemed to intensify in office, and he quickly leveraged his 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue address and his Twitter handle to burnish his brand and misrepresent reality." He goes on, "Presidents throughout the years have differed in their approaches to policy based on political platforms, ideologies, and individual beliefs. Mr. Trump, however, has shown highly abnormal behavior by lying routinely to the American people without compunction, intentionally fueling divisions in our country, and actively working to degrade the imperfect but critical institutions that serve us." No, sir. No, sir. That is you who have done all these things. It's amazing how what they do is, when they are accused or found out to be involved in something, they just turn around and say you're doing it. It's like it's like dealing with a kid. You can go up to them and say, little Timmy or little Tammy, whoever, you're being a bad child, and then they'll say something childish in response, like, no, you're a bad child. That's what we're dealing with here. This is the level of ability to basically deflect attacks that we're seeing here. And they're given this platform. Okay, so I understand he's the former director of the CIA, and if he wants to write an op-ed in the Washington Post, they're probably going to let him do that. But what is going on in this country where it's being allowed to have a former director of the CIA just lambaste the president on a regular basis, when he himself is being implicated in so many different violations of the law that, and the media won't cover it. The media won't cover it. They won't cover what happened at the CIA all those years, whether it was with North Korea or it was with Iran or it was with spying on the Trump presidency with the other intelligence, the Trump campaign with other intelligence agencies. None of it is being looked at least not as far as a broad scope of examination by the mainstream media. No. You have to go to the far right corners of the internet, if you will, because that's what they label us all. We're all right-wing conspiracy nuts, right? And we continue reading through this article. He goes on, although appalling, those actions shouldn't be surprising, as was the case throughout his business and entertainment careers. Mr. Trump charts his every move according to a calculus of how it will personally help or hurt him. His strategy is to undercut real potential and perceived opponents. His focus is to win at all costs, irrespective of truth, ethics, decency, and many would argue the law. His disparagement of institutions is designed to short-circuit legitimate law enforcement investigations, intelligence assessments, and media challenges that threaten his interests. His fear of the special counsel's work is especially palpable, as is his growing interest in destroying its mandate. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath here. We're going to break this down kind of line by line. First of all, Trump does and has dealt in this manner where he would calculate things based on whether it would personally help or hurt him. When you become the president, though, you change your strategy a little bit to where will it help the country or will it hurt the country? Because you're the president, you don't have to consider yourself any more. This is the first, I think, mistruth here in this paragraph. And then it's saying that the strategy he's using is to undercut his opponents at all costs and irrespective of truth, ethics, decency. Okay, well, first of all, nothing Trump's done to me has seemed very unethical. And most of it is as truthful as he could possibly be, his attempt at truth. And decency, well, I would rather have somebody who's a little indecent up front than somebody who is decent to my face and then doing awful, disgusting, inhuman, sick things behind my back, right? And as far as him, irrespective of the law, well, that will be for a judge and a jury to find out if you want to bring charges with any evidence you have. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The Mueller investigation has no evidence of Russian hoax. No, but they're just changing the scope so they can basically turn it into a witch hunt and go after anyone and everyone they can because they just keep expanding the scope of the investigation farther and wider so that they can just basically do anything they want and probably clean up the mess that they've left through their illegal spying of the Trump campaign on behalf of the Obama administration and other intelligence agencies that were working for the Obama administration, who actually put spies, or as they like to call them, of course, informants, who were there like guardian angels to help the Trump candidacy. Obviously, they were floating in the rooms and trying to ease the tension and to monitor to see if they can find the Russians, because obviously there's Russians all over the place. So they were in there, doing their crack investigative work, but wait, where is the evidence that Trump colluded with Russia? And why did we have that investigation if the intelligence agencies knew they were just there as informants, as they like to say, who were just trying to look out for the president? So why open an investigation where you persecute basically the president for being involved in Russia collusion, when then on the same hand you're saying to us that you've used these informants to help the president because you thought there might be Russia collusion? No, the whole thing's fallen apart. Now the media cycle has to shift, and it shifts into just attack President Trump, attack President Trump, attack President Trump, because that's all they know how to do. Okay? That's all they know how to do. So then we see, it says, for more than 3 decades, I observed and analyzed the traits and tactics of corrupt, incompetent, and narcissistic foreign officials who did whatever they thought was necessary to retain power, exploiting the fears and concerns of their citizenry These demagogues routinely relied on lies, deceit, and suppression of political opposition to cast themselves as populist heroes and to mask self-serving priorities by gaining control of intelligence and security services, stifling the independence of the judiciary, and discrediting a free pass. These authoritarian rulers followed a time-tested recipe for how to inhibit democracy's development, retard individual freedoms and liberties, and reserve the spoils of corrupt governance for themselves and their ilk. It never dawned on me that we could face such a development in the United States. It shouldn't have dawned on you. You know, maybe this should have dawned on you back in the Obama administration when you were a part of all that. When you were doing what you've described here is how you destroy a democracy from within, or basically how you subvert the duly elected government from within. So, and he's describing, you know, these tin pot dictators in third world countries who have done this, and now he's trying to draw some sort of parallel to President Trump. Excuse me, sir. If anybody could possibly fit in all the categories of description you just gave us, I think it would be what was going on in previous administrations that you were a part of, sir. That's just my opinion, but it's like I said before, whatever they're guilty of, they have to scream it louder that you're the one who's guilty. It's the no, I'm not, it's you defense. You know, I know, you know, it's not gonna work out for all these people who are doing this, but it goes on. Let's say the international front, Mr. Trump pursues policies that are rooted in uniform campaign promises, a determination to upend actions of his predecessors, and an aversion to multilateral engagements. His ad hoc and frequently impulsive approach to national security is short-sighted and dangerous, as allies and partners are left uncertain about U.S. strategy and objectives. Well, some of those allies and partners have been scamming our country blind because of people like you, Mr. Brennan, who allowed certain deals to take place and allowed certain arrangements to happen globally that have basically extorted and stolen the wealth of America little by little, as you and your crony pals believe that making some egalitarian socialist utopia is going to somehow solve the problems of imperialistic expansion and American exceptionalism. You know, you guys are the problem. Mr. Brennan, Mr. Clapper, Mr. Comey. You guys are the problem. You guys are what, and President Obama, Secretary Clinton, these are the people we should be upset at. Not the President of the United States, who's doing his best to try to piece together what he was handed. A mess from Obama. Economy in the drain. All of our intellectual property being stolen by foreign nationals. You know, billions and billions of dollars in trade deficit accruing and only growing. Dismal economic numbers. You had unemployment at all-time highs. You had all of these awful things that he walked into, and now they're trying to turn around and say he's some dictator who's trying to undermine the national security. And no. Maybe our partners who've been robbing us blind in the global societal order, or the New World Order, as they've termed it, not me, maybe they should be left uncertain about our strategy and objectives. Maybe we shouldn't just telegraph everything we do so that they can formulate policies to basically rob our country blind, because the politicians are bought and paid for by foreign national companies and other entities, allegedly. Yeah, that's I'm going to leave it there. The impact of the Trump presidency will be felt for many years to come. Most worrisome is that his use of falsehoods, his mean-spirited and malicious behavior, and his self-absorption will be emulated by many young Americans, indeed young people globally, who look to the President of the United States. The damage, and okay, well, here, I'll just give you a quick one. Yeah, because it's going to be such a shame when I have to look down at my children and they're acting like the president of the United States, being kind to people, promoting prosperity, being industrious young entrepreneurs. Yeah, I'm going to be that role model. Who would want that, right? Who would want that? I want my kids to be more like Mr. Brennan and Clapper and Hillary and Bill and Joe Biden. That's who because I'm being sarcastic. That's who I want my kids to be like. No, I don't. They're all, in my opinion, the worst kind of individuals you would ever imagine. But according to according to Brennan, we have to reconsider this, right? And now I'm not going to read through all of this because it's all just kind of a hit piece. But I will cover the important parts. Here's another gem. Many have condemned my public criticism of Mr. Trump, arguing that as a former CIA director, I should bite my tongue. My criticisms, however, are not political. I have never been and will never be a partisan. I can't even say that with a straight face. I speak out for the simple reason that Mr. Trump is failing to live up to the standards that we should all expect of a president. No, you're a partisan hack. You are a partisan hack, raisin-faced turd muffin, Mr. Brennan. And I know this because look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. You were in charge of the CIA under the Obama administration, and it's alleged that you helped to put your informant guardian angels to just keep Trump away from Russia collusion, who are actually spies trying to plant the story, to plant the seeds of doubt so that we could have an investigation that would hinder the president's ability to effectively do the duties of his office and effectively hinder his ability to maintain a majority in the House and the Senate and to have a way to manipulate people for the 2018 midterm elections and to have maybe even something for the 2020 election cycle. Guys, we see right through it, okay? We're not stupid here. And his final thought here. As someone who has had rare privilege of directly serving 4 presidents, I will continue to speak out loudly and critically until integrity, decency, wisdom, and maybe even some humility return to the White House. So, there you have it. That is from the mouth of the raisin-faced turd muffin himself, John Brennan, former director of the CIA. And Trump called him out, rightfully so here. And also, he points out here that Dan Bongino goes on and says that $17 million spent. It's a scam investigation. Americans are being worked. We now know there was Russia collusion with Russians, and the Democrats, the Mueller team, is stacked with anti-Trumpers who actually represented Clinton people and gave money to Clinton to crooked Hillary. And that's from Dan Bongino. Yes, that is exactly it. So, you guys, let me know what you think. But before we go, we're going to cover one more real quick thing. This post went up originally at it went up about 9 minutes before 5:06 a.m. And what was different, there was an edit made by President Trump, right? And the edit, as you guys can see right here, is the I in intelligence community was changed to a small I. So it went from a large I, capital I, to a small lowercase I. And the difference was 9 minutes. Now, Trump has been sending us these messages through his Twitter account, I think, to give us, heads up on things that are to come to look at and investigate further. How about this? What if they're referring to the 9 eyes? And this is just one preliminary guess, but I'm going to rely on you guys in the comments to let me know what you think it could be meaning. But if it was referring to the 9 eyes, that would make a lot of sense. A broader expansion of the Five Eyes intelligence agency, where it includes not only the United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and United Kingdom, but also Denmark, France, the Netherlands, and Norway. And it's important to note also that, and I don't know how important this is to note, but there was a 9 Eyes that was fictionalized in the James Bond movie Spectre, which is totally different, but principally the same thing, except fake. So this is real, the real 9 Eyes. This is the fake 9 Eyes from the plot of the Bond movie, where it included South Africa and China. But a lot of people have basically made the insinuation, after you look at all this, about the Five Eyes, that they're all just a bunch of corporations or companies basically spying on each other. or countries spying on each other's citizens to get around their own laws, their own privacy laws, their own all types of different human rights laws that would be violated when you do that. But here's a good one that I found, and I just thought it was important. April 15th from QE Post here. He says, reread the Five Eyes, avoid U.S. data collection laws, Hussein, public dossier, FISA, not public, Five Eyes, UK, Australia, POTUS, targeting using pushed Russia decoy meetings, campaign insertions, Hussein, HRC, Loretta Lynch, Brennan, Clapper, National Security, White House, sit room, Operation UK Aussie Assist setup, Q. Guys, that's it. Q has laid it out. This is see, here's the thing. This all is not coming out publicly yet. I mean, Sarah Carter just put up a breaking story the other day talking about how the Five Eyes are going to be implicated in this whole Russia dossier FISA thing. Look, this is from April 15th. This is from almost 2 months ago, and it's telling us exactly the narrative as it happened. Okay? And it further is proof when you read an article like this from John Brennan, where you're like, okay, that makes total sense why you would really speak out against Trump, because he's exposed your corrupt ways. He's exposed the corruption. He's exposed the evil. And then we have different layers of evil. You know, you have in Arizona right now, you have some great men and women doing a hard job in outing the actual child traffickers, the coyotes that are coming up and bringing kids into this country and doing all types of awful things with children. And then you have exposing the deep state, the shadow government, those that may or may not be involved in some of these things that they've been alleged to involved in. But what we know that they're involved in is subverting a duly elected president by basically doing everything they can to throw every roadblock in front of him and keep him from being able to execute his job. So that's where I'll leave that. And I'd love to hear your guys' thought, but when you come back and read this post, I mean, you can't help but think, this is it completely explained. The dossier in FISA, so the Russian dossier and the FISA court abuse is the public thing that we're being shown. But the non-public thing is that it was the Five Eyes with the UK and Australia, who we all know UK and Australia, they are pretty big intelligence agencies, and the President of the United States targeting using the pushed Russia decoy meetings. Who knows if they even set up the meetings, or they influenced people to go to the meetings, or allowed the meetings to happen so they could have a reason to create this investigation. It just shows they had full knowledge of what was going on, and that everything that we've seen from here, from there to here now, shows us an incredible story of true traitorism, in my opinion. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate you all coming around. And, just look at what Hillary's tweeting out now. I know it was National Day of Action for Children, but, you got to read through the comments on this. They're pretty much... She's getting really tore up here on Twitter by people who are commenting back, because she says, there is no more important test of our country than the way we treat the most vulnerable among us, especially children. We cannot turn away from what's happening on our watch. We have to act. And if you start reading through them, how are those children from Haiti? Agree, defund Planned Parenthood. As you acted when you defended the rapes of a child, weren't you Secretary of State while this was going on? Surely, since you care so much, you used your power and influence to do something about it. Oh, wait. Explain aborting the very vulnerable ones you speak of. And I thought this one was really important. It said, they're poignant. It said, is that a go signal? The tweet is similar to the one that Comey wrote a while back. And remember, we have the veiled threat that was put out by Comey through Twitter, allegedly, according to Q. So who knows what's going on here? Because, you have the good men and women, veterans who are out there fighting for children right now as we speak. And that is going on in real time in Tucson, Arizona. And I've tweeted all about this on my Twitter page. So if you guys want to get more information on how you can help, if you're out in Arizona, if you're out that way, they really encourage you to come and participate. They're cleaning it up. They're wrapping it up. They're putting everything into evidence. And because nobody's coming out. The FBI won't come. Homeland Security won't come. Nobody will come out and do an investigation where they found, like I showed you in the last video, where they found this what would look like a prison cell for children, and a way of binding them and doing all types of sick things, it would seem. And it's at an abandoned, basically, cement factory in Tucson, Arizona. So here you have all the information that you could possibly need if you want to get involved. If you're in that area, there's actually even an address you can go to, because they're actually having a call for action for those to come and get boots on the ground. If I was close enough, I'd be there, but it's not near me. So if you guys can, definitely go check that out, and also come over here to Justin Formed Talk at Justin_formed on Twitter, and you can come follow me, and you can come read my posts and stuff. I'm trying to get way more involved in Twitter, and I want to thank the Twitter follower who made this for me. I thought it was great. They made it, and they said, here, I made this for you, and if you want to use it as your header, go ahead. And I said, okay, because I thought it was cool, and I think it's a nice thing that you guys do. So I can't tell you how much that means to me. Thank you to the person who did that, which was Trump_wave. It seems like a nice enough person. Thank you so much. That was really a nice thing that you did. And, I appreciate that kind of stuff. That means a lot to me. So thank you so much for that. But that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Again, I want to say thanks to every one of my subscribers. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, the easiest and best way to do it is to come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified. The second best way, which is my favorite way, scroll down at the end of this video, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comment section, because we try to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos where we cover exactly what we went over here, and we talk about what could be going on. If you guys have your thoughts and you have your own theories and you have your own insights, and there's other information that's breaking, I know a lot of people like to come and just post information, and it's amazing. So even if you can't comment, just scroll down, read through the comments, because I guarantee you're going to learn something you didn't know before. And another way, if you're looking to help out, which I really appreciate financially, please come over here to patreon.com, because every one of my last 4 or 5 videos here have been temporarily demonetized, and I'm getting a lot of scrutiny and reviews from YouTube. So Patreon just helps, so I don't have to worry so much about all that, because I'm always going to give you the content for free, but if you guys donate, it helps the channel out big time. So I really appreciate that. And it's only a monthly donation, and you can come and give just for the 1 month, and then you can stop, or you can give monthly, and whatever it is, I encourage you to come help out the channel, because it makes a big difference for me. So I thank you all in advance. That's patreon.com. Search Justin Formed Talk. You'll come here to this landing page, click this button to become a patron, come check out my rewards and goals, and you guys will certainly make a big difference if you come over here and help me out. So thank you so much in advance to everybody who's going to come check that out. Now, before we go, we're going to talk about the most important thing. We're going to talk about God and God's word, and why is God's grace greater, and how can you just take a second to remember that God loves you, and that what we're doing here is, the Q is fine. It's fine to get information, even if he stops posting. He's given us so much, or they've given us so much. It's very wonderful, and we're thankful. But we have to continue the journey together here in order to continue to expose this evil, to continue to expose the Satanists, the globalists, the pedophiles, the Luciferians, the people who have hijacked our government, the shadow government, the child sex traffickers, everything. We have to work hard, and we have to do this with the instruction of wisdom from God. So we have to look to God to give us the wisdom that we need to know what to do. And every day I get up, I look to God for wisdom, and I look to him for guidance, and I have to take every day as a blessing, and that God's given me a purpose, and that I need to continue to work hard to execute that purpose. Even if I'm sacrificing, it's a Saturday and I'm sitting here doing this, and I do it every day. But, I could be out doing something like working outside, or enjoying some of my favorite pastimes, maybe down at the range, or go to a lake, or go somewhere, go hiking. But let me just say this. God is what is most important. And in my personal life, my important mission is to spread the word of God every day, and to get the truth out there about what's going on, and to shine a light on the evil. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I've been given by God. But each one of us, every one of you out there has been given something by God. You've been given a gift, you've been given a talent, you've been given something that's deep down inside of you that you know you want to go do, and that you know you want to have be a part of your everyday life. So go out and do it, but do it with God. Call to God. Ask God for his ability to make you strong and to make you able to do these things that you want to do. Because without him, none of us can do anything. So let's read Psalm 37. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's one of my favorites. And it's instruction in wisdom. And it says, "Do not be agitated by evildoers. Do not envy those who do wrong. For they wither quickly like grass and wilt like tender green plants. Trust in the Lord and do what is good. Dwell in the land and live securely. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit your ways to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act, making your righteousness shine like the dawn, your justice like the noonday. Be silent before the Lord and wait expectantly for him. Do not be agitated by one who prospers in his way, by the man who carries out evil plans. Refrain from anger and give up your rage. Do not be agitated. It can only bring harm. For evildoers will be destroyed, but those who put their hope in the Lord will inherit the land." So that makes me think, I even reflect on everything when I go through this. And when I talk about John Brennan and all the things that he's been doing, I get upset and I tend to feed into that anger against him. But it's more of a righteous indignation, I'd like to think, than anger. Because I'm not angry at John Brennan. I pray for his soul. I'm righteously indignant to the fact that our government agencies have worked together to undermine the institutions that we should trust and we should rely on. Even though we shouldn't rely on them very heavily, in my opinion, because I'm more of a conservative who's more of a I guess you would say libertarian leaning, but I don't like having labels. So I'm more for states' rights and that kind of thing. But that's God telling me something. I mean, as I read the words, it struck my heart, and I hope it struck your heart. I hope that it means something to you too, because you have to remember that we cannot be agitated by the evildoers. We have to trust in the Lord and trust that we will prosper. The Lord will give us our heart's desires if we just put our faith in him. And we will inherit the land if we just allow the evildoers to do their evil, but then not let it affect us. Because that's a part of life. There's good and evil, and we have to call it out for what it is. But that's going to be it for this episode. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. If you don't take anything else away from this episode, please just take away that God loves you, God is here for you, and all you have to do is open your heart, say a prayer, and remember that God will give you your heart's desires once you relinquish yourself to trusting in his wisdom. So that's going to be it. I want to thank you all for watching again. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications. But that's going to be it for me. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.